Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko, joined by Tariq Spence and Pat Duffy. Tariq, how you doing this week?
Feeling pretty good. Looking forward to another great week of sports to talk about.
And Pat?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Listen, you got to ask about the jersey because I'm very excited about this sweater today. It's extremely thrilling.
All we can see is the collar. What do you got?
Okay, it's a I believe it's from 1999. Ooh. Rochester Americans, St. Patrick's Day Moose jersey. Hold on. It's a Randy Cunneyworth, too. Come on. Anytime you get Randy Cunneyworth with an Irish Moose on this sweater, gamer, how can you say no to that on eBay? Am I right? Am I right, guys?
Can I just say this? That is the best jersey I've seen you have on this show.
Wow.
Look how fun that Moose is with the shamrock on it. Come on. How fun is that?
The best one. I thought the Blue Jays one was great, but that's the best jersey you've had on this show.
Hey, Tariq, let's talk NFL. We got the schedule out this week and wanted to address the first week of play. We open up with the Bucs in Dallas. What else strikes you about that first slate of games?
Other than the Bills taking on Pittsburgh, I have to say that I have to watch the Jets-Panthers game. I have to find out what's going to happen in that game. Sam Darnold, you mean to tell me first week out will get a chance to start and beat his old team, the Jets? I can't imagine he hasn't already circled that on his calendar. The Jets have a brand new philosophy, brand new head coach. We'll wait and see what happens. They're a young team. We can tell they're rebuilding, so we understand that. But a chance for revenge, that's all the NFL has been selling since Tom Brady left New England.
Still, you look at that whole schedule, I've got to think that Tariq's the only guy in the country that thinks that that's the sweetest game on the schedule, Pat.
100%. Because there's no surprise no matter what happens. Darnold goes in and beats the Jets because they're terrible. Shock face. Oh, the Panthers are terrible, and he gets beat because he's on the Panthers. Who cares? No, the big matchup that I thought was the shock was the 425 national Browns versus Chiefs game, because the NFL for the last couple of years has been wanting Cleveland to be relevant. And they made the playoffs, and they went against a depleted Steelers team last year. I don't really have any interest in that Browns-Chiefs game because I don't really have a lot of faith in the Browns, because why would you after what's happened the last couple of years?
You need to tell me, after all we've gone through with Cleveland last year and the fact that the Chiefs were not the Chiefs last year, that game interests you? I have no interest in that game because I think the Chiefs are going to run all over.
Here's why it interests me, because as a Bills fan, there are 5 or 6 teams in the AFC that you have to be concerned about. Titans, Ravens, Colts, maybe, Browns, and Chiefs. And I think that game is going to tell us a heck of a lot about what we should be feeling as Bills fans, other than the actual 1:00 Bills versus Steelers game on opening day.
Can I ask one question, though? What is the obsession with Baker Mayfield? We seem to be waiting for him to take this next step as this elite quarterback, and now he's on prime time against a Super Bowl contending team. I mean, it just seems to be the same thing all over again for the last 3 years with the Browns. This game will be the game that we will finally see the Browns be who the Browns have always wanted to be.
I saw a couple interesting ones. I thought I got Jacksonville playing at Houston, which may be the worst game on the schedule, but Jacksonville's favored at Houston. And the other one that I like, if I were betting them right now, I got the Chargers getting points at Washington. I think LA's a good team. And to Pat's point, I think between Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Kansas City, those are the 3 biggest threats to the Bills trying to get to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, that and the fact that, the Steelers coming to Buffalo on opening day, because the Steelers are a giant question mark. They were undefeated for how long last season? Then everything collapses down the stretch, starting with that game against Buffalo, right? Starting with the game the week earlier against Washington. But the Steelers could be a really good team that's contending for a division championship. The Steelers could be a team that wins 5 or 6 games as Ben Roethlisberger quietly walks out of the league, and that wouldn't be shocking either. So, a good performance from the Bills that opening weekend against the Steelers will say a lot for the entire AFC.
I think June, July, August. So we're talking about this 4 months out, and we can't wait, right, for these games in the NFL. This is the Rochester Press Box, and we'll look at what the Buffalo Bills are doing next.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay and Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. Time to talk a little Buffalo Bills. Pat, they were debating that opening game in the NFL card. There were a lot of people that wanted to see the Bills play the Buccaneers. It would have been really interesting. They settled on the Cowboys Tampa. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was pretty confident it was going to be the Bills and Buccaneers. Why would you not want the Bills and Buccaneers? Super Bowl champions versus a team that was a game away from the Super Bowl. You have a history with Tom Brady and the Bills. I mean, look, America loves Josh Allen. Like, he's a big, goofy, fun guy, and I think I know why everyone loves Josh Allen. I think the average guy, if they were to play in the NFL, they think they would play the way Josh Allen plays. Like, it was tailor-made for let's kick the season off. I am shocked that wasn't the Thursday night primetime game.
But think about the game that you got. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, they've been this big rivalry for years in Western New York. There are a lot of Steeler fans. I know you know this, Duffy, that will say, hey, listen, I don't care. I'm Steeler Nation. I'm all the way. So this first week matchup will set the tone really for the Buffalo Bills season and possibly for the Steelers season. I'm not sure about Big Ben. I'm not sure about – there's so many other factors going on with the Steelers as they kind of go through transition from whether or not Ben can still do this, or, they're in a very fluxy situation, but they're also a very tough team and a dangerous one week one.
Now, a couple things to that, Tariq. First thing I thought of is that Pittsburgh travels well. A lot of Steelers get those Bills tickets when they come to Buffalo, so you're going to get a little bit of a split crowd. And the second thing, as good as we think Pittsburgh looks, that's the second highest line currently in Vegas in the season. The 49ers favored by 7 over the Lions is the biggest, and Buffalo was a 6.5-point choice to beat Pittsburgh. It's the second highest on the board. Pat, what do you got?
I mean, it makes sense, though. Watch, you look the way that the Bills and the Steelers played each other last year, right? Like, I mean, the Bills dominated them in that second half, and the Bills, you can make an argument, got better. The Steelers either stayed the same. I don't know how much better the Steelers got. So with nothing else to go on, yeah, Bills are 6.5-point favorites. That being said, Bill, do you ever trust a line on opening day in the NFL ever?
Well, it's only 4 months out. And how much is it going to change?
Well, I would like to know who is going to be there. Remember, the Buffalo Bills for the last 2 years or so have definitely built up a number of people interested in going to the games. They always sell out those games, especially the last couple of years. Pittsburgh is a well-traveled team, like you said before, Bill. I don't think there's going to be as many Steeler fans there as people may think. I think there's going to be a lot more Bills fans, diehard Bills fans, bandwagon Bills fans, because it's the first game of the year. Now, talk to me, week 10, if the Steelers are out of it or the Bills are out of it, it might be a different story. But week 1, sold out and nothing but blue, white, and red.
Yeah, and Tariq, again, we don't go a show without talking COVID. That plays into this, right? I mean, the fans weren't able to see games last year. It was a great year. They've got a lot of pent-up emotions, you might say, don't you think?
Absolutely. And week 1, I'm not sure what they're going to do for tailgating. I don't know if you've heard anything, Duffy, but if you did, share with us what they plan on doing with tailgating.
I have not heard anything about tailgating, but Tariq's 100% right. Like, you haven't seen a game in over a season, right? The Bills went to the AFC Championship game last year. They have higher season ticket numbers, it sounds like, than they've ever had before. There is no way there is more than 1,000 Steelers fans in that stadium opening day. No chance.
Find out.
This is the Rochester Press Box. Like it or not, is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
All of these things show Josh Allen has a strive for greatness inside of him.
Falcon Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Kanguli Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. This segment of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law Firm, attorneys with years of experience dealing with the accused. Don't go unprepared. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today. Tariq, like it or not, Tim Tebow's getting a shot in Jacksonville to play tight end.
Well, last week I talked a little bit about this, and I've had a lot of thought over the last 6 days or so to reflect on it, hear a lot of different comments and things, and I still think he shouldn't be on the team. Because what this is for Tim Tebow to get so many different chances. And we all know this is through the network. This is through the good old boys thing. My whole thing about NFL teams is that, okay, he's a great leader. I get it. This has nothing to do with his religion. This has nothing to do with him as a person. Good. Staff. I mean, put him on the team as some sort of coach somewhere down the line. But to use a roster spot for Tim Tebow, to me, it's just a waste. I mean, for crying out loud, you mean to tell me that you drafted and did scouting on all of these tight ends, and you still believe a 36-year-old guy could beat out these 21, 23, and 24-year-olds? That says a lot about your scouting than it does really about what Tim Tebow's skill level is. You want him on the team, that's fine. Put him in as a coach.
And Pat, is this the way Jacksonville wants to get started? Is this the first thing they want on their plate?
I mean, look, he's a hometown kid. He's got a relationship with the coach. Look, I agree with Tariq. I don't know what the heck you're thinking that there's not another player that can play tight end over a guy that's never played before. That being said, I kind of feel like a hypocrite saying you shouldn't do it because I'm going to be watching everything that happens. Like every Jacksonville game that's on in the preseason, I'm going to pop it on. And Tariq, don't act like you're not. Don't act like you're not going to pop that preseason game on to see if the kid can play. So, kid, a grown, old-ass man can play. Look, it's BS, but I'm going to watch it. So who am I to sit here and criticize it?
You got about 15 other games you can watch. That's fine.
Good point. Pat, like it or not, a possibility of a Buffalo Sabres future without Jack Eichel.
Well, I don't like it, obviously. Like, what a disaster this has become so very quickly. And it's funny because, like, the Sabres and Bills in a calendar year won exactly 15 games each, which is insane, right? And you think as the season comes to an end, the pain is over. And then literally the day after the season comes to an end, it could not be more painful. And, the debate, accusation, inferration, I'm not good with English, Bill, you fix that, is that the Sabres weren't allowing Jack Eichel to have surgery on a herniated disc that he suffered about a quarter way through the season, and that he's not allowed to have surgery with his own permission. The team has to sign off on it. I mean, if that's true, and you're treating your captain this way in a year where we're going that well, you understand why Jack feels that way. Like, I would feel that way too. Like, and the way that he's speaking, it sure sounds like he wants out. However, Sabres have him. He's affordable when it comes to the Sabres salary cap, and he has a no-trade clause that doesn't kick in until after next season. So the Sabres hold all the cards. If they want to sit on him, make him go play out a season, see what happens. They can do it. Maybe try and repair the relationship.
Lowest points in the NHL, and you want to hold on to this guy? I mean, I would do him a favor and the organization a favor. Move him, get what you can, start all over. It's starting from scratch, Duffy. You know what that's like.
No, but we're starting from scratch again. And this isn't a guy that you go and get something for. Look, Ryan O'Reilly was the MVP of the Stanley Cup Finals after Sabres fans said the same thing. We weren't winning with him. Who needs him? Get what you can. Well, we got absolutely nothing back for him, and he became a legitimate NHL superstar. I don't want to go through that again. Jack Eichel can play. And the way that Ryan O'Reilly played in Buffalo versus how he performed in St. Louis, like the step above, if Jack Eichel, who had been playing as a legitimate superstar in Buffalo, ends up on a team that can actually play, he might be a top 3 player in the NHL. No, do everything you can to salvage this relationship. Don't cut bait and run. It's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Pat, since you watch these guys and you see them so much, I mean, have you got any confidence in the management team with the Buffalo Sabres of being able to get anything done?
Say no.
It's hard. It's hard to say yes or no because, again, the management team changes every 2 or 3 years. There's no track record. Kevin Adams doesn't have a history as a general manager, but he's made a couple of moves this season where I was like, okay, but then again, he's never really dealt with an offseason before. The Pujols have not run this franchise well, but then again, you look across the street and the Buffalo Bills are having the most success they've had in over a quarter century. Like, if the Pujols could just show the Pujols how to run a franchise, everything would be fantastic. My brain's in a pretzel. I don't know what to think anymore, man.
And you want Jack Eichel to stay?
Yes. He's that good of a player, yes.
Yeah, I think you're better with him than without him. This is the Rochester Press Box. This portion brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law, and Unfinished Business is next.
But you're not better with him.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. It's time for Unfinished Business. Pat, start us off.
Somewhat shocking news coming from overrated sports reporter Mike Catalana from 13 Wham this week that the Buffalo Bills not only want to come back to St. John Fisher for training camp this year, but have actively been doing it. So the NFL decided that teams can go back off-site and have training camp somewhere else this year if they want to, but the league has to approve the plan to do it. Well, the Bills submitted a plan to come back to St. John Fisher College for training camp this year. And it's surprising for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't think the NFL would want that to happen with everything still up in the air. And two, the contract is coming up soon with the Bills and St. John Fisher College. A lot of NFL teams have been moving to staying home to do training camp. And as a matter of fact, it was believed that both Brandon Beane and head coach Sean McDermott, because of their association with both the Eagles, Andy Reid, and the Carolina Panthers, teams that have all done this before, didn't want to come back. Well, it looks like we were wrong. And this is great news. I mean, granted, if there are fans allowed at St. John Fisher College, this will be, without question, the most electric training camp the Bills have ever had in Rochester. So, if they're here this summer and we can go, get out while you can. Because, as we know here in Western New York, when things are good, enjoy it as much as possible because nothing is guaranteed next season.
I'm going to miss Albert Pujols. Last week, the Los Angeles Anaheim announced that they were designating him for assignment, which is the end of his career, also the end of his 10-year contract. Pujols won 2 World Series championships with the Cardinals for 10 years there. Of course, a couple of MVPs, All-Star. He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He'll probably get in either first or second. But he had a great career and was a great person when he played. And I feel bad for the Anaheim Angels, who signed him to a 10-year contract but didn't really amount to too much in the second half of his career. Then again, they do have this guy named Shohei Ohtani, who is a Japanese player, signed in with the team in 2017, won Rookie of the Year 2018, and just pitched 7 innings, 1 earned run. And then after that, his bullpen exploded, but not on his part. He went in and played the outfield. Ohtani is called Showtime for a reason. Now, listen, I'm not staying up late to watch this guy pitch when he comes up every 5 days or so. But it is interesting, the fact that this sort of Japanese player, all-star phenom who can hit above 250, by the way, and be able to pitch and throw shutout innings against a team like the Astros, even though they weren't cheating at the time. It's just really impressive to do so. So I could say this for one thing for the Anaheim Angels. I know they got Mike Trout, but Showtime is one guy I have to see every 5 days or so, even if it's going to cost me some sleep.
Willie O'Ree made his National Hockey League debut for the Boston Bruins in 1958. He played 2 impactless games before being sent back to Quebec City. He resurfaced 3 seasons later with the Bruins, played in 43 games, and scored 4 goals. Among them, the first ever scored by a black NHLer. Those are the only games played by O'Ree, now a Hockey Hall of Famer, as a builder and ambassador to the sport at the age of 85. Some history here. O'Ree's great-grandfather was sold into slavery after the American Revolution. While this country was winning its freedom, Paris O'Ree was losing his. He escaped a plantation via the Underground Railroad to Canada, where in Ontario, slavery had been outlawed a good 70 years before the United States got around to it. 3 generations later, Willie O'Ree grew up in Fredericton, played hockey at the age of 3, but didn't skate in an indoor rink until 15 years later. O'Ree overcame a serious hockey injury that cost him the sight in his right eye, which would also have cost him a shot at playing in the NHL had his doctor divulged it. He didn't, so O'Ree became a trailblazing hockey player, half blind. There wouldn't be another black player in the NHL for another 14 seasons. Then there was Jerome McGinley, Grant Fuhr, PK Subban. And last Monday, Daniel Walton was promoted from the Syracuse Crunch and joined Tampa Bay's Matthew Joseph and Gamel Smith to form the first all-black forward line in the NHL, a feat met with great notoriety, which is why we shouldn't forget about how it all began. That is Unfinished Business, and that is our show. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Tariq?
Can I ask Pat Duffy, where do I get that jersey?
You have to be on eBay for 7 years until it sneaks up, and then you snatch it away from anybody else that wanted it.
Show it again.
Oh, look at the moose. He's on the shirt. And it's Randy Cunnyworth. Randy, if you're watching, what's up?
And I'm sure he is. Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.